And now, welcome to the Great Cigar and Pipe Show, presented by Hiram and Solomon Cigars, and coming to you live from the Corona Cigar Company studios.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another fantastic episode of this show, Cigar, Pipe, and...
I hope it's this show. I mean, what other show are we
That's the
doing?
only show. This is the show. The Cigar Pipe Show right here, man.
I thought we don't even know what the show's name is.
What are you talking about?
It's called horse manure.
It's the great show.
The great show, the Cigar and Pipe Show. There we go. I got to interrupt. What do you mean? Come on, guys. Well,
we got a great shoe for you. Great shoe.
This
great
is our
shoe.
typical start.
Great shoe. We have a
Three
great
against
shoe
one,
tonight.
as usual. You know, that's what it is. And it's the way we get to start here and welcome everybody. Join in. We definitely take about 5 minutes or so for everybody to chime in at this hour. And we keep asking you, hit the share button, hit share button, hit share button. We got a fantastic guest from the United Kingdom.
What do you want us to hit again?
Hit the share button.
Oh, okay.
Just want to say that again. You know,
I'll put
absolutely.
them in the bathroom.
I'm going to go to the bathroom after the sponsor break. After Bruce, definitely. We're got a fantastic guest this evening that a lot of the people in the industry know him real well. He's interviewed so many fantastic people, and he's a wonderful person himself. So we can't wait to get him on the show here after, of course, our station break. You know,
Is he interviewing us or are we interviewing him?
I think
yes.
he could. I
Yes.
think it's a good thing because he's got a lot of questions, Bob. He's been around a long time.
I have
I've
no
seen him, you have no answers, so forget about it. We're just going to tell him not to ask you anything.
I'm not going to say a word.
Not going to say a word?
Nope.
Finally, folks, we finally got Bob to shut up for good tonight.
I don't say nothing. It's when you say it that the crowd cheers.
Well, everybody loves Ronnieisms. And,
my God,
of
course, because it's free drinks.
Absolutely. So just, you know what? I got to screw up so everybody can start off with a drink.
Go ahead, buddy. Go
what
ahead.
should we say? To my brother Richard sitting down there. Oh, no, that's brother Rob. Oh, Ronnieism. Let's drink. Okay.
What the hell is going on?
I had to make a
but
mistake.
I am
We can drown
lost.
them out. The more we drink, we drown them out.
I have no idea what's going on.
Wait a minute. All I can say is thank God Reinhard is going to be with us tonight. That's why we chose, Bob and I chose this background that we're sitting in. We're in our beach house in the Hamptons. So that we can bring
East
a little
Hampton.
class to our show. Because let's face it, our
He's
show
not even
has
there. He's not
very,
even listening to you.
has very
We are
don't worry, he can hear
classes.
me. Reinhard can hear me. He probably went to the bathroom real quick. He's in the green room waiting patiently.
Why not?
But, he's going to bring class to this show, which I think is fantastic. I know that we need a little class in this show. So Reinhard being here adds that.
Yeah,
Well, he brings
I
that
would say so.
European class that we need. Because, we're
Exactly.
what, street urchins from America. We know.
Well, we're the
Right?
30 Americans,
Don't be surprised if the guy comes out in a tuxedo or a tie, just
I
up
would
as
not be
class,
surprised.
The guy's got it all. You're going to really enjoy him.
We want to.
Button up, Bob. Button up. Button up.
We want to talk about class in the show up here. Our co-hosts is
God.
saying hi from a jacuzzi right now. So he's smoking.
He's squatting in there naked with 3 other people.
3 other guys, I know. they're teabagging the place.
And
I
they're
get it.
wondering
Whoa.
what bubbles
Easy.
are around him.
Jeez, Ron, come on.
Reinhard doesn't have to put up with this. Reinhard, it's 2:30 or 3 o'clock in the morning.
It
there.
really is, yeah.
It is.
He's
I don't know
5
what time
hours.
it is. 5 hour difference.
5
so
hours.
3:30 in the morning.
8:30, 9:30. Yeah, he should be in bed.
He should be.
In fact,
God bless him.
he's not even coming on tonight, folks.
He really has. He really has done us an honor for coming on at this crazy hour. he knows of us, and we definitely know of him, and we can't thank him enough. And I'm going to tell him when he comes on.
Let's introduce ourselves and get to our sponsors.
All right,
let's get this guy on.
All right, so here,
What
do
an
the
idea.
introduction.
Wow.
So, we have to hit the 5-minute mark, Bob. Okay, we got all these people jumping on.
I know.
Bruce.
Bruce is on, right?
Bruce
right now,
is finally on. Yeah.
All right, as long as Bruce is on, that's
all.
If
If Bruce is on, everybody's on. And
We're
Joe
all
Galino's in the jacuzzi with 3 other guys. So anyway,
and watching the bubbles rise.
Oh,
they're playing the chooch game in there.
Okay.
Anyway, everybody, welcome aboard. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks a lot. Introduce ourselves. Why not? I'm Ronnie Pecorini. This is Kyle Jesso.
Good evening, everyone.
The 2 guys that are sitting in the Hamptons this evening. My brother, retired Bob.
How you doing from the beach?
From the beach himself.
From the beach himself.
There you go.
From the beach.
From the beach. Yeah. And the one, the only, the master chooch himself, Cousin Frank.
Hello, everyone.
Oh,
Yeah, come on.
hello.
I was
Wait,
being very,
He's trying to be British.
Whoa.
Listen, I'm going to take a page tonight out of Reinhardt's I love the way, if you have to watch him interview his guests because
He's got class.
Well,
Guy's got class.
he's got class, but he does it in a way that is so respectful, unlike what we do.
No,
So
we
it's something
disrespect everybody, Frank.
and that's the
yeah.
problem.
Well,
I
we're
think-
equal to everybody. You know? I mean,
Well, that's the thing. Well, I can't wait to listen to his stories because he has a lot of them, and I have some
And the
interesting
accent.
questions.
I like the accent.
Well, the accents are
The
always
accent,
great.
you know,
The women love
they-
accents,
yeah, they
by
do.
the way.
They
So
do.
we just need to have more women watching.
Well, they're
That's
all
the
watching.
problem. They're all watching.
Well, once we saw that, the women,
spinning
our
their
women's
thongs,
rating
waiting.
tonight should hit high. Absolutely. Anyway, hey, everybody that is listening right now, please hit the share button. Let's get it out there, and we're going to go to our sponsors. Bruce, if you're listening, this is for you. Go ahead to the
Bruce, go ahead.
and then we'll call you right back. Enjoy. Take it away, Frank.
This industry is steeped in family and tradition. There's generational stuff, and I see it over and over, and yet I didn't come from that. Being the outsider looking in, I got to ask all the silly questions, and people were very accepting to want to give me all the right answers. I'm very thankful for those people who kind of allowed me to come in. Now with Alec and Bradley in the business, to have our company become generational, that's pretty cool.
Welcome to GTO Dominican Cigars, a boutique cigar company that artfully blends and creates some of the finest handmade puros from the Cibao Valley in the Dominican Republic. We are 4th-generation manufacturers and growers of tobacco with over 140 years of experience, offering a variety of styles, blends, and strengths. Mild, medium plus, and full-bodied. We would truly consider it an honor for you to experience our cigars. Those who know smoke GTO.
Before you light your next cigar, be sure to check out Cigar Medics, the makers of the patent-approved humidimeter. The humidimeter is a tool designed to display the relative humidity inside your cigar. With this device, there's no more guessing. Simply insert the probes into the foot or cap of your cigar, and you can instantly know if your cigar is ready to be smoked. Buy now on cigarmedics.com and see site for other cigar accessories. With the humidimeter, you'll know when to hold them and know when to smoke them.
Years in the making, the Chief cigar was born, blended, boxed, and released to market on June 26, 2015. This cigar was developed by former fire chief, firefighter, cigar aficionado Ken Dorbecker, and has grown into a signature firehouse cigar line.
All engines respond.
Including, of course, the Chief, a Nicaraguan Habano blend, Proby, a Connecticut Shade blend, All Hands, a Maduro Mexican San Andreas box press, and the brand new Fire Pole, a beautifully crafted San Andreas Habano barber pole. Join the Chief family and make us part of your humidor. R&A Treasures, out of Tampa Bay, Florida. The last of a legacy. The last of an inventory of Thomas Cristiano in a warehouse where everything is aged and well kept for all your pipe and smoking needs.
And we're back, folks.
Here we are, man.
Hey.
We never left, Kyle. We're still here.
Well, we go in and out. We're like,
The old
here we
in-
are, and
the old
now
in
we're
and out.
not.
Yeah.
The old in and out.
Oh God, folks. Oh
Oh,
God.
you know, we were just talking about this. We went off the rails like immediately tonight.
Yeah.
Is there a reason?
Yeah, because you guys goofed on me right away. You know,
there is
you don't
no
even give me a
reason.
break. As soon as I open my mouth, the three of you.
Well,
attacked me.
that's the fun of it.
Of course it is.
Now we got to clean it up, guys. All right.
All right. Absolutely.
Now we have to
absolutely.
be professional.
Exactly. We always
And
should be
can
professional.
we do that? Because this is going to be,
Nobody likes professionals.
Yes, they do.
tune in because of our antics.
No, but for tonight, Bob, I want you to put
No,
your
I am.
professional suit on. And
I'm going to put a smoking jacket on and
exactly.
a nice.
Exactly.
Bruce says he doesn't think we've ever been on the rails, so there's
No.
Ronnie, why don't you introduce our guest? Because
Yes.
I'm tired of listening to Bob and Kyle. I'd rather listen
Oh, Kyle hasn't shut up yet.
to you.
Wow, I'm telling you. All right, folks. Anyway, all the way from the United Kingdom.
From the United.
Well, that's what it is. United Kingdom.
Yes, you're right.
There he is.
The one and only. Right. How are you, buddy?
So your question is, what did you sign up for tonight? Huh? You stayed up for this?
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining us at such a crazy hour. What time actually is it there?
So two things. I'm in Austria, Vienna.
Oh,
See,
okay.
Ronnie doesn't get, like, his geography is real bad.
Oh, no, I really
You
thought
hit
you UK.
right on the
Forgive me.
head with old Europe. So here we are in the heart of Europe, in beautiful Austria. It's 2:30 in the morning or 2:45 now.
Okay.
And I'm delighted to be with you. So thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for staying up.
Yes.
Well, did you get a couple of Z's at least? Did you pass out a little bit, or you're fighting the day here?
He's going to do that while he's on the show.
Ready and fresh to rock and roll. There was quite a bit of work left to be done. So, I thought this is a great excuse to stay up all night and with you gentlemen.
Wow.
I had the pleasure of already smoking a couple of cigars today. So we're all good.
Well, thank you for
nice.
being
Very
on the
happy
show
to be here.
tonight.
Yes, thank you.
Well, yes,
It's a privilege.
absolutely. We
Thank you so much
appreciate
for
it.
having me.
And as you know, and you can see, we're not as adequate as you on your show and everything. We're a little, crazier.
We're never adequate.
I love the energy. It's all good.
But that's what we have. We bring a lot of energy. We bring a lot of laughter, and the chemistry. We're family, so we kind of joke on each other. We've been doing that for a long time, except this guy. So,
In Austria, what part of upstate New York is that?
So Reinhard, tell us a little bit. A lot of people do know you, but there's also a lot of people who have no idea who you are. Can you give us the background on how do you get involved in the industry and how things going for you?
Well, first of all, how long do we have? Just so I know how to frame my.
Well, let's start when you
want.
were born, and let's tell us about the first 10 years of your life, and then we can jump to the next 30. Go ahead.
I was first grade.
The thing is, I really have to start at that age because that's where all my roots are, and that's what truly inspired me to go on the journey that I'm on. I grew up in a very simple and poor, quote unquote, family, and we never really had much. But what we had as a family was dinner table, and my earliest childhood memories evolve around standing in the kitchen with my grandfather and my grandmother, and kneading dough, baking bread. It's those very simple, honest memories of a true handcrafted product, of simple things, of smell and taste. And those memories always stuck with me. And it was only later in life that I kind of rediscovered those roots, and I found back to who I truly am at heart and what makes me tick as a human being. And I'm so very grateful for all those early experiences and those early moments with my grandparents, with my parents, who essentially and in a very charming and nonchalant way told me what's truly important in life. And later on, as I said, I had to rediscover that. Initially, I studied socioeconomics. I worked with handicapped pupils. I had to earn my money for my university studies as a skiing instructor, typical Austrian, right?
Yeah, sure.
I almost became a professional drummer and
Oof.
musician and singer. But eventually, finding back to my roots, I said at the Wine and Spirit Education Trust, without previous experience about wines or spirits, to be honest, but there was something intriguing about this whole world. And then I sat there in the very first introductory seminar, and I was listening to the guy with a glass in front of me. It was a blind tasting of a rosé wine, which I didn't know back then. But he was talking about history and geography, about soil and climate and terroir. And I took that glass and I had a sniff of it. And suddenly it all made sense. It all came together. I love to learn. I love to study. And it was fascinating to hear about my home country, about different origins of wines, about all these intricacies and details. Yet I could smell and taste it. And this link between everything you could study and then having that immediate sensory impression and sensory perception was just utterly fascinating to me. And that stuck with me. I started to deep dive. I was learning everything that I could about the wines of the world, the spirits of the world, and it was in particular the spirits world and fortified wines that caught my attention. So eventually I started to give seminars and lectures about wine. I went all the way into the advanced certificate of the WSET. I started working independently already as a teacher and trainer. And besides, I went into the bartending world and had the privilege of working in a very old school American bar in the city center of Vienna, decked out in old woods and with black and white pictures on the wall from all these Hollywood stars and celebrities who came to visit the bar eventually. And it's funny. I almost feel like an old soul in a young body, because there was always something appealing about those old school kind of things. The whole notion of sitting down in a dark, dimly lit American bar with some old jazz and big band swing and blues and
Nice.
Yeah,
standards
yeah.
in the background.
Well, you always wanted to be a gangster.
Absolutely. And yeah, so I entered the world of hospitality. I had the privilege of working in some of the most highly respected and highly awarded hospitality establishments and the world best bar back in those days. I worked at the American Bar in London, at the Savoy Hotel. I co-opened a craft distillery in the city of London. I worked for a consultancy company there. And eventually, because of my family, I moved back to Austria, started my own consultancy company, and I've been an entrepreneur ever since. And I also think that the entrepreneurial mindset and spirit was sort of deeply engraved into my DNA. And here we are. I mean, a decade later, I worked as a consultant for five-star hospitality, the luxury brands of this world, for people in all various industries, creating experiences, multi-sensory experience journeys, customer journeys. I'm an author and a journalist. I had the privilege of being on stage as a keynote speaker for various different events and fairs. And thankfully, I became part of the cigar industry as well. And I can tell you there's no other industry like this. And I have never experienced a community, I have to say, and a global family that's like the premium cigar world. And so I'm truly fascinated every single day by the warmth and the love and the beauty of this industry and this community, really. And I'm just truly grateful to be a part of it.
How did you bridge that from the wine world to the cigar industry? I mean, that's
because he went from wines to more spirit. He did he did cognac. You were the youngest. You were awarded. You have to talk to us about some
Frank,
of your awards. By the way,
you know,
he has to talk about some of the. I think he's too modest. I mean, he was like the youngest. To achieve,
you're going off script. You're going off script here.
He's very humble. He's a very humble guy, but he's been awarded some things as the youngest. So talk to us about some of these awards that you were given, and I think that speaks to not only your entrepreneurial spirit, but also the depth of when you go to learn about something. You don't stop at what I'll say is mid ground. You dive so deep into it that you are now.
He sells the soul to that.
He does, and I think that's what makes you very special.
It does.
Well, thank you, and indeed, I don't like to talk all too much about awards and accolades and that kind of stuff. I believe at some point along your journey, it probably comes naturally if you truly invest yourself and your heart into something that you love and you try to give it your all. And as you said, I mean, I love to deep dive. If I truly get into something, I want to get deep. You know, I'm not the kind of guy to scratch on the surface and do a little here and a little there. Yes, I did plenty of things in my lifespan already, but I want to give it my all, and I want to thoroughly invest myself into something and then go for it. And so, yeah, you know, along the way, you probably pick up some of the accolades and some of those little thingies here and there. And it started with the wine industry, with the bartending world. Later on, I was representing Austria in the global finals of World Class, which is probably the most demanding and challenging bartending competition out there. There, I was awarded the Sensory World Champion globally, and some of my spirited loves, truly the cognac world, but also the world of sherry wines from Andalusia in southern Spain. They awarded me official cognac educator and sherry educator. I did my Master of Sake diploma through a Japanese organization. Yep. And yeah,
it's funny,
most innovative bartender.
I mean, you don't have to be Japanese to be a experienced.
What was your favorite cocktail to make?
Oh, that's a good one.
I love simple things. You know, I think as a chef, as a bartender, probably as a cigar blender even, but with all the things that you create, I believe you go through different stages. First of all, you got to learn your basics. So you have to build the foundation. As a chef, you probably have to know how to make a great stock, a good sauce, simple, honest basics, the foundation of everything, right? Then the next stage is you go on that crazy Sturm und Drang, we would say in German.
Can you say that again? Because I got to catch that. It goes slow.
You're not going to be able to pronounce it.
Yeah,
you didn't. No, you
that wasn't even close. No.
You said, "Look at my butt."
You know, it's kind of the literary meaning of you go all crazy and you go all fancy. Yeah. You try different things. You make cocktails with a Parmigiano Reggiano infusion, and you do a fat washing with foie gras or God knows.
Dinner.
Right?
Wow.
How about just an easy, like Manhattan or old fashioned?
Now, here's the thing. You hit the nail on the head, because after you go all crazy and fancy, at some point you realize the only thing that truly matters is simplicity, to find the perfect raw materials and the perfect base ingredients. And then you don't try to tweak them all too much, but you work with the beauty that Mother Nature gives you.
There you go.
Mm.
And you take
But you said a
two
Manhattan,
perfect
right?
ingredients, you bring it together with finesse and style and elegance,
Yeah.
and that's all you need. You know,
Nice.
No,
Exactly.
there's nothing like the basics in anything, really.
but
Yeah.
you have
Simplicity.
to make them great. You
Right.
have to
Oh,
focus
yeah.
on all the details. You choose the perfect ice. You get a
Yeah.
nice mixing glass, a beautiful long bar spoon, a lovely jigger, and then you take your favorite cognac, your favorite vermouth, red vermouth. I happen to produce
Of
my own
course, of
since
course.
Oh, nice.
last decade.
Because
It's
we
called
drink
Pontica,
Manhattans.
red vermouth. You take those two ingredients, stir them over ice, strain them into a nice little coupette or a cocktail glass.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing else.
What
Yeah.
That's
about the
my
blonde
twist
that's
on a
sitting at the end of
traditional
the bar?
Iceland cocktail.
Oh,
All you need.
Bob's
Wow.
worried about the blonde sitting at the end of the bar. Do you know how many years it's been since Bob saw a blonde at the end of the bar? That was back in the 60s. So he's a little old.
Yeah, but Frank, when the blonde turned around, it was a guy with a beard.
Hey,
So,
that's the kind of
but-
bars you used to go into.
But I mean, there's something to be said here. I mean, what he's talking about,
No,
you know,
yeah,
it
you're right.
basically keep it off of the and I use it myself, the KISS method. You keep it simple, stupid, but I mean,
Amen.
simplicity usually ends up being the best thing out there. You go too fancy,
Always.
it puts people off. You keep it simple, you're always going to get that repeat customer to come back because it's something that they remember from back when they used to do things all the time.
Yep.
It keeps them bring
Kyle,
it
you're
keeps them bring it
absolutely
back.
right. Even in food,
Mhm. Yes.
simple sauces are
Yes.
always the best.
Yeah,
I
you
don't
don't
care how-
overcomplicate.
You can get these chefs who go crazy, like you said. You know, they go out of control, basically.
Yeah.
But you know what? There's nothing better than a simple sauce.
No.
Done right.
Yeah.
You know,
Done right.
Great ingredients. It always
great
comes down to
ingredients,
great
the
ingredients.
simple stuff,
Fresh
is the
ingredients.
best.
Yes.
Fresh.
Absolutely.
ingredients, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, Reinhard, now that we have all the liquor history behind you, how did we now get into transforming all this into cigars
Yeah.
and all the amazing interviews that you had? And
Now-
you had several with a few of our good friends, too.
I think that all has to start. You have to ask him what was his first cigar experience.
Well, that's
Okay. Let's start when he was a baby, because he said it goes back, way back. Then.
No, I don't think he was smoking a cigar at 5 years old.
no at 7.
No, in Austria, it starts at 7. No?
I mean, the man is young. Let's look at him. He's young.
Oh, he's a lot younger than
Before I
us.
give you the cigar story, I wanted to add something because it kind of struck me when you spoke about simplicity. I could almost draw an analogy to the place that I live here in Vienna. Like this is my hometown. I was born and raised here, and I love Vienna. It's the most beautiful city in the world. But it was only through my global travels and exploring the world that I realized this. And I think with the simplicity aspect, with being a chef or a bartender, it's kind of the same thing. You have to go out there, you have to explore things in order to then come back and realize the beauty of what you actually have,
Yeah.
and how
Correct.
important it is to focus on things. And it's not enough to just be simplistic for the sake of simplicity, or because that's all you can handle and deal with. You have to go out, you have to explore, and then come back and treasure and appreciate the simplicity of the most beautiful natural things and the gifts of Mother Nature.
Absolutely.
And now back to the cigar story.
Yes.
So
Right. Absolutely right.
my 18th birthday comes along. Again, me being an old soul in a young body, I felt like, it's time to put on a suit, put on a tie, go to an American bar, sit down at the bar, order my first ever cocktail, and smoke my first ever cigar.
At the same time, 1 and 1?
Wow.
Oh boy.
What was that cocktail?
We're talking about pairings here, right?
Yeah.
I have to be honest, it wasn't fancy. It wasn't the most elaborate cigar back then. I didn't really know all too much about cigars, to be honest, when I was 18. So I I bought a Candlelight Brazil. It was a machine-made mass cigar with the Brazilian wrapper, something that I could find at my local trafic, as we call them. So it's not even a tobacconist, not a cigar retailer. They just happen to have like a few of those machine-made cigars on the back shelf. But
It's
I
like
felt
our
like a
version
king.
of White Owl.
Yes.
Well, hey,
You know,
it's an 18-year-old budget. Remember,
Right.
you know,
Exactly.
you can only
18-year-old
afford
budget.
so much at that.
Yes,
Absolutely.
yes.
Absolutely.
you have to start somewhere.
Yes.
That's right.
Absolutely.
So
We've
I
all
felt
been there.
like the king of the world.
Mhm.
I had my Candlelight Brazil cigars with me. I went to that American bar. I ordered my first ever cocktail. It was kind of a twist on a brandy Alexander. So usually in the beginning you go for something that's sweeter. You go for something with a little bit of cream in there to soothe the palate a little bit. So you don't start with the old fashions and the Manhattans and the Negronis of this world because you got to experience and make your first
Correct.
moderate steps there. So eventually, though, I came to that old school dimly lit American bar, had my drink, had my cigar, and it was one of those light bulb moments that I will never forget, and it stuck with me. So I made it a kind of a ritual every now and then, either on a Sunday night or on my days off. I would go back to that American bar. Sit there, have another drink, and have another cigar. And so slowly and steadily, I got into it. And one time at this bar, a gentleman introduced me to a Davidoff number 2, and he gave me one of my first ever handmade premium cigars. At some point at the same place, there was a gentleman sitting next to me with a little black box on the bar top, and he asked me if I wanted to try a cigar, and I said, well, what cigar could that possibly be? And he opened a little black box.
See, a gentleman again. A gentleman again.
Very much so. And he gave me a Rocky Patel cigar, and the guy was Kolya, who is the international sales director for Rocky Patel, and still to this day one of my dear friends and a really cool chap. We became friends, and then there was an event in the Austrian Alps called Mountain on Fire, where Rocky Patel introduced his Grand Reserve cigar line, and I was giving a lecture about cognac and sherry wines at that very event, introducing people to the concept of pairing cigars with fortified wines or with beautiful cognacs.
Yes, yes.
And I happened to cover that event also journalistically for the Cigar Journal magazine. And through that event, I was introduced to the editors in chief, to Katya, a fantastic lady, and one of my closest fellows along the cigar journey, Reinhold Widmeyer, the publisher of Cigar Journal. Again, what an incredible human being, and what a true gentleman. And since they realized that all my life has truly been about sensory experiences, about creating and also perceiving and analyzing those experiences, they made me part of the tasting panel of the Cigar Journal. So I'm part of that blind tasting panel of international cigar geeks. I started writing about holistic cigar experiences and all the sensory nuances of appreciating your finest handmade cigars. And so it was kind of through the journalistic side of things that I became more closely acquainted with the industry. And eventually I realized, look, there's incredible shows on the internet, primarily in the United States, like yours. And there's podcasts and a lot of great news and stuff going on in the industry that we rarely see over here in Europe, where the mechanisms of the industry and the overall perception of premium cigars is somewhat different compared to the lifestyle and the art and the culture in the United States. And I wanted to lend a European voice to that industry that I came to love so much. And that's how my idea of hosting a podcast or a cigar show with a European voice came along.
Nice.
And that's how I created the concept Light 'em Up. And it was intended to be a cigar podcast. But then COVID hit, and the first lockdown came upon us.
Yeah.
And so eventually I tweaked the concept, and I had to immediately react and adjust and think about how could I continue to love what I do, and that is bringing people together, building bridges, hosting other people. And so I reframed the idea, called it the Light 'em Up Lounge. We created, I believe, one of the first ever virtual lounges during that whole COVID lockdown craziness.
Yeah.
And we started with our first get together of people on March 20th. Fred Vandermeer from well, what's now the Vandermeer family company, Oliva. He was one of our first. He was the first guest actually, and that's how the Light 'em Up Lounge started. And we hosted 3 shows per week: Wednesday, Friday, Sunday night, and it just kept people sane during the lockdown. And still to this day, I have people calling me, writing me, or whenever I meet them in person, telling me, look, honestly, you brought us through the whole pandemic, and you gave us a platform to come together and just have an open discussion, have a great conversation, meet some like-minded people, share a cigar, and embrace the conviviality that cigars truly represent and resemble.
Well, we know what you went through because we're 5 years in the making now, and during that whole COVID, we kept going strong, and people are tuning in. A lot of people did try jumping in and doing their own show or whatever, and there are some that came and some that went, and we're still going, and we're doing the same thing, interviewing wonderful people each and every single week, and we try to bring that cigar lounge atmosphere as if we're all sitting in a cigar lounge just having a good time. And we've known each other since children, and it's a beautiful thing. And we definitely understand what it was like to go through COVID, and we got stronger actually.
Well, that's what I was saying. I mean, through COVID, I believe it helped us refine our craft. We were able to get more people on from across the country, across the globe. It really helped us start branching out into more directions than we thought we'd ever go in. And we smoke a couple of sticks through the lockdown. I mean, there's nothing bad about that.
You know what I'm curious about though? What do you see is the difference between the European market and the American market? Because I sense there's a huge difference in how things are perceived. Yeah, I mean, there's got to be a huge difference.
And I'm sure that there's the selection of cigars are going to be very different as
yeah,
well.
I'm sure they have different stuff that we have. We have mutually the same, but it's
they got Cubans over there. We don't.
They have Cubans.
They do.
So first of all, I think that the cigar culture in Europe and in the Eastern Hemisphere in general, I think has a certain elegance and finesse to it. That's sometimes associated with kind of a luxurious connotation. I don't like for it to feel elitist in a certain way, where you feel like you have to put on a suit and tie in order to enjoy a premium cigar. That's really not the point of it. But there's something about this old European elegance and finesse when you think about gentlemen like Jeremiah Meerapfel, the way he dresses and the way his grandfather, great grandfather, and all these generations before us, the way they dressed, the way they thought, and how they behaved,
the fedoras and everything, the scarves.
Absolutely,
was of our father's time here in America. We went to blue jeans and T-shirts. We lost that finesse, basically. You guys are still maintained it, and he definitely is a perfect example of the finesse he keeps that everywhere he goes. He does not change. He is who he
epitomizes
is.
class in a way that what used to be in the roaring 20s, 30s, 40s, even, well, the 30s, you know, with the Great Depression was tough, but
people
the
knew how
20s,
to dress, Frank.
Yeah.
Women wear gowns and dresses, and men wore suits all the time. There was a certain amount of class that you brought. Even if you were piss poor, you dressed well to go out.
Right.
Where these days we have lost that certain touch.
We lost it here in the 60s, basically. We lost it in the mid 60s when, you know, the Flower Child and all the crazy rebelled.
It was like,
he was part of the rebellion.
My dad wore a suit to go to the grocery store, and I kept telling him, why? Why do you got to get dressed up to the grocery store? You know,
in a sense, you're blaming Bob for this, then.
It's all my fault. It's all my fault.
It's his generation. It stopped at mine.
My generation, and I regret it now. So back then, it was like, oh, you know what? We were rebellious. But I look back at like old movies and stuff, and I say, man, that is the way to go.
Yeah.
You know?
It is.
Bruce is funny. Bruce says, this is the first time I've ever heard the words elegance and finesse on this show.
Might be the last time, Bruce.
Chris, you have to get the European guy on there for
that's all right, because we're going to get a lot more into the European here with you in a moment.
Even
we're going to take a break. Even Al Capone wore a tie.
Hey,
yeah, we got that.
Always wore the best suit.
Even the Teflon Don did that.
They did.
But we're going to take a break, and we're going to go into where basically where you are and what's happening, and continue the finesse talk, if that's okay with you. How does that sound? Sounds good? All right, people, if you got questions too, load up your questions so we can get them on the side, and we can ask our special guest this evening if he can answer any of those questions, and be classy about it, okay, guys? Thanks a lot. Frank, take it away.
Howard G Cigars is a dynamic new cigar brand grown from a love for cigar culture and a respect for the artisanship behind the craft. We are a minority-owned family business based in Orlando, Florida. Our current collection delivers 3 exclusive lines: Black Moses, Magic Stick, All Pro Series, featuring Leon Searcy's signature cigar and Ike Taylor's one-of-a-kind.
You got the one-of-a-kind rankings. They got me at 89. I'm cool with that.
We are focused on evolving as a dynamic brand and bringing you new flavor-filled blends that you'll enjoy and want to share. Visit our website at www.howardgcigars.com. You can find a full list of our retail partners there too. Thank you for making us part of your humidor. DAV Cigars out of New York. Decades of experience combined with true love and deep understanding of cigars result in the highest of standard of each DAV hand-rolled cigar.
This is Phil Morgan, General Manager of Missouri Meerschaum Corncob Pipes in Washington, Missouri. Our mission since 1869 has been to produce great smoking pipes that anyone can afford. We guarantee our pipes won't be your most expensive, but they just might be the ones you smoke the most. At Missouri Meerschaum Company, we don't just sell our corncob pipes. We grow them, make them, and smoke them. Missouri Meerschaum, Washington, Missouri, since 1869.
Loyalty, passion, courage. These are the founding principles of K by Karen Berger Cigars. The Maduro, the Habano, and the newly rated 93 by Cigar Journal Connecticut. Do yourself a favor and check out this wonderful line of cigars that come from a completely linear company from seed to your hands. Blue Smoke Atlanta is the vision of Robin Blue, founder and CEO, and represents an award-winning luxury smoking accessory line based in Atlanta and sold worldwide. Since 2019, Blue Smoke Atlanta's goal was to redefine traditional smoking accessories into a timeless collection of exquisitely handcrafted luxury products to include cigar pokers, cannabis clips, jewelry, and other awesome things. For an elevated smoking experience, visit us at www.bluesmokeatl.com.
At Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco, we specialize solely in the finest hand-rolled, craft, and boutique cigars on the market. Mountain Smoke Premium Tobacco is sure to have something that will excite you. Shop our online humidor at www.mountainsmokewv.com.
A family of 4 generations in tobacco. It started in Odense, Denmark, 141 years ago, 1882, with a factory and a retail store by Erik Peter Stokoby. 4th Generation is a premium quality brand consisting of a selection of tin and loose tobaccos made in Denmark, pipes made of the finest quality briar, and superior accessories from leather goods, lighters, and pipe tools. The selection of 4th Generation products are available in premium pipe and cigar stores in the US and many European countries. Check out 4thGenPipeTobacco.com.
Back, folks.
And we're back.
Please hit the share button because there's so much more time to go and a lot more information here by our special guest, Reinhard, and we can't thank him enough to come on at such a crazy hour and join us here in the States. And so let's continue the discussion of elegance and class in Europe as far as the difference between the class of Europe and the low class of Americans.
Well, I guess. Hey.
Yeah, I was just reading what some of these guys were saying. So, you know.
We're not completely classless here, you know.
I think one of the big ones to know would be like, has pipe, like we just got off our pipe commercial there. Has pipes and pipe tobacco have you seen an insurgence in Europe with the pipe smoking in the younger generation as we have here in America?
Yeah.
A little bit, yes. Now, I think in general, no matter which industry or product you look into, there's a current trend towards less but better, right? So whether it's handmade premium cigars, a fine pipe, a great spirit, a good glass of wine. I think these days, a lot of quote unquote younger people even, they focus on quality rather than quantity, which is tremendous. And my father used to smoke an occasional pipe. And it was my first sensory memory when it comes to tobacco, when my father lit up his pipe. And I fondly remember it. It was gorgeous. And so every now and then I tend to light up a pipe myself, just for reminiscence and for memory's sake, to be honest.
Nice.
Can I ask you, do you remember what tobacco he smoked?
I didn't know. I do not, unfortunately. So I didn't really question it back in those days.
Sure.
And I have to have a thorough conversation with him about that. And just last year, I had the privilege of sitting down with my father, and I gave him his first premium cigar. And for his birthday, we enjoyed and shared a Meerapfel cigar. And so it was truly special, where I could introduce my father to some of my current work and one of my greatest passions in life. And we could share this very special moment. So I'll never forget that.
It's a perfect segue. Let's talk about the cigar and now how do you get involved with Jeremiah and the rest of the cigar industry?
I think everything that we just discussed kind of leads into this. Still to this day, and I say this with all due respect, and I love the culture and also the cigar culture in the United States, but Europe still kind of defines class and elegance in a certain way, and truly leads the world when it comes to the Swiss horlogerie, when it comes to the old European supercars.
Absolutely.
When it comes to the haute couture from France and Italy, that's where everybody watches.
Yeah.
And that's where true class and elegance is defined. And interestingly enough, even the cigar industry, at its very core, is rooted in old European class and finesse and elegance. Yes, nowadays we probably associate the cigar world more with the American entrepreneur and the businessman going down to Nicaragua, Honduras, setting up shop for a boutique cigar brand. And you have by far the strongest cigar culture in the United States. And that's what I love about it as well, is it's so base democratic. Like in the US, if you go to a cigar lounge and you sit down with the blue collar worker or the multi-billionaire, it truly doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. You immediately have that connection and you make friends for life with people from all over the world, from all walks of life. And that's what I love about the cigar culture in the United States. It's inclusive and it brings people together in the most beautiful way. And again, Meerapfel Cigar, the UberLuxury, is the essence of old European family legacy, of heritage, of tradition, and perfection in a beautiful, humble cigar. But the notion of bringing people together and the inclusive thing about the cigar culture in the United States is something that I very much treasure and I keep very close to my heart. Now, Meerapfel Cigar, as I mentioned, is firmly rooted in those core values of tradition, respecting history, and a family legacy that spans 11 generations and 400 years in premium tobacco and cigars. I think that's what immediately struck me and what drew me into this world and why I got so fascinated with the legacy of the Meerapfel family and why I felt like this is a place where I belong and where I feel comfortable giving my heart, my effort, my time and my energy and invest myself into something that I truly believe in. And that's how Jeremiah and I really came together, how we shared our initial conversations. I still remember when he and I we sat at the Light 'em Up lounge and we had our first ever conversation. And I knew immediately that not only had I just met a very special person, but a true friend and fellow in life, and a person that eventually would become family to me.
Right. I mean, they had to overcome quite a bit. That family, this was not a legacy that was easy by any stretch of the imagination. So tell us a little bit about the history of the brand and some of those struggles that they've had over time.
I believe no legacy, no true legacy comes easy. You know, it's always ups and downs, and you have to go through a lot of struggles in life. And believe you me, I mean, the Meerapfel family, they've gone through hell and back multiple times throughout their history and over those 11 generations. And repeatedly, they lost everything, right? I mean, when the family obviously started eventually in the 1600s in Spain. Eventually, they made their way up to southern Germany, where they grew tobacco, where they started to manufacture cigars in the late 1800s in a little village called Untergrombach. Obviously, being a Jewish family, at some point the situation got very tricky and challenging in Europe, and they had to literally explore different territories around the world. They became one of the biggest exporter of tobacco out of Cuba. They became one of the first exporters of premium cigars out of Cuba and into Europe. They were behind the scenes of the premium tobacco and cigar world throughout history, and still to this day. I mean, being there as purveyors of the treasured Cameroon tobacco, and now purveyors of Meerapfel Cigar and Selección Meerapfel. I think they're by far the oldest family still in business. And
where's the factory, may I ask? Where's their factory now that they're producing their cigars?
so currently, the cigars in the portfolio of Selección Meerapfel and Meerapfel Cigar are manufactured by different icons of the cigar industry, which eventually might change. But that's for another conversation on another show, probably.
Right.
But the family has been sort of behind the scenes a little bit throughout history, and only in the recent years has come a little more to the forefront and became a bit more visible to a wider range of people. And so more and more cigar aficionados now familiarize themselves with the name Meerapfel, even though they have probably enjoyed the treasured, genuine and authentic Meerapfel Cameroon leaf for years and decades. One of the biggest accomplishments of the family, obviously, to have saved Cameroon, and in many people's opinion, by far the most elegant and most refined wrapper leaf that you can find on premium cigars, because of its incredible aromaticity and those incredible, elegance, finesse. Again, we're talking about the same things. We come up with the same descriptions even here when I talk about this. So it kind of refers back to the family history and legacy. But there's so many great stories to be told. It's incredible. When the Meerapfel family saved the transcripts from Ernest Hemingway, and they brought them to the University of Princeton, how they were close acquaintances and friends of Che Guevara, helped Alfred Dunhill or Zeno Davidoff in the early days, how their close relationship with the Fuente family ultimately led to the creation of the Don Carlos blend, which again was a quintessential paradigm shift in the cigar industry, and kind of opened the international markets and acquainted people with non-Cuban cigars, which was unheard of back in those days. I mean,
is that how Jose Blanco got involved? Was when you mentioned Fuente, and Jose, I think, is in Spain, well-renowned individual in the industry. He's like the encyclopedia. How did he hook up, or how did you guys put together? Because I know he's on a show of yours quite a bit. Also, the professor is always on there. How does he come into play, if any at all?
Now, I mean, Jose is an icon and a legend of the industry.
Yes, he
and
is.
He became a very good friend of mine, and somebody that I really look up to. He's a mentor. He works for Fuente internationally and represents Arturo Fuente in a very elegant way. He conducts a lot of seminars and tastings, and he travels all over, introducing people to the art and craft of handmade premium cigars, and for that I think we cannot thank him enough. Like so many other people out there in the industry, doing an incredible job spreading the word and truly sharing and singing the gospel of handmade premium cigars, because we need more of those people.
Yes,
and we need more people to understand this is a mesmerizing handcrafted product of utter beauty. It's something that brings us all together, and it will never stop to fascinate me how the humble cigar has an ability to bring people together. And I said it earlier on the show, I have never in my life, and you by now know, I've been involved with some industries where people are truly passionate about what they do.
yes.
But never have I seen anything like the premium cigar industry. And it's because of people like Jose, and in particular like the Meerapfel family, who have over multiple generations given their all, invested their blood, sweat, and tears, as we often say, to perpetuate this incredible craft and this art and this culture, because it's so important, it's so meaningful and so relevant. And even though the cigar might seem old-fashioned to people in a certain way, I think the cigar is the perfect product for our time, because it reminds us of what's truly important, and that is to spend time with each other, to sit down, take a moment, and contemplate about values, and to focus on the experience, a true analog experience, whether that's all by yourself, lost in your thoughts, with a great glass of cognac, with a great book, or having an incredible conversation like we have now, right? And it's the perfect vehicle. It's the perfect sign of appreciation, and
yes,
to have the ability of cherishing and appreciating that very moment and that very conversation that you're having with the people who share the same values and beliefs. That's what the cigar is to me.
We have one of our listeners, Christine, wanted to know, because you just held up the cigar, and our listener and friend Chris wanted to know what exactly can you tell us? And we know the secret sauce you can't give, but what actually is in one of your cigars? Can you give us any?
No, there's no secret sauce. They're not going to give that away.
It's only us. No other 65 countries want to hear this. But can you give us anything about the blends?
Let me go back a moment and paint the full picture for you.
Sure.
I mentioned earlier that Meerapfel Cigar is deeply rooted and firmly resting upon the family legacy of the Meerapfels. Meerapfel Cigar is a tribute and a testament to this unrivaled legacy. And so Meerapfel Cigar, comprising 4 different master blends, each and every one paying homage to one of the family generations. Meyer, which I have here, representing the genesis of everything, referring back to 1876, when Meyer Meerapfel, Jeremiah, Joshua, and Melissa's great-great-grandfather, actually set up the first Meerapfel cigar factory in Untergrombach in southern Germany. Ernest, Heller, Richard, the other master blends that we have already shared with the world or announced, again, all referencing to one of those family generations of the Meerapfels. And when Jeremiah envisioned Meerapfel cigar, when he started to think about this, after his father Richard had passed away way too early, unfortunately and sadly, he knew that if you are to honor such an incredible family legacy, you can't just come up with another product. You cannot just manufacture another cigar, because this is a vision and a dream. It's not about the cigar per se. It's about that dream. And in order to build something that's as relevant and as meaningful, Jeremiah focused on the old European notion that we had discussed earlier, and he thought about how some of those old European legacy luxury brands have reinvented their industry and the segment that they're in by deconstructing every single element that ultimately makes the experience, and either again, reinventing it or taking it to a whole new level that has not been reached and has not been achieved before in that industry, like the Hermes and the Patek Philippe's and the Paganis of this world. And with Meerapfel Cigar, it was exactly the same thing. Every single aspect that ultimately makes the premium cigar experience was deconstructed and taken to an incredibly nuanced, detailed level and put back together in a completely new and exciting way. And not just to create a product or to do something that, makes sense as a business proposition, but purely to do things the right way. Because if your foundation is a dream and a vision, if your inspiration is to honor a family legacy, you have to go above and beyond, and you don't think in years or decades anymore. You start to think in generations.
Mm.
And there's no messing around anymore. There's no cutting corners, and there's only focus on doing things the right way and giving your all to perpetuate this legacy for generations to come.
Right.
And I think when you understand that multi-generational thinking and the core aspect of doing something for the sake of doing them the right way, to bring back certain blends or aspects of craftsmanship that the world has abandoned because they're not economically feasible anymore, and because so many people are tempted by making a quick buck or cutting a little corner here and there. It's
Correct.
all too easy, all too tempting.
Yes.
But if you are a family like the Meerapfel family, you just can't do that because you don't jeopardize 400 years of history and legacy.
No.
Absolutely
Is this
not.
still a
No, no.
tie back to Cuban soil in the cigars today?
Or the Cuban seed, or
Oh, that's what I mean.
Well, going back to your question earlier, or the question of your viewer, much rather, regarding the blends, I think with Meerapfel Cigar being such an unrivaled project and legacy, it's not truly about the mechanics or the technicalities of the blend per se. It's more about the holistic experience, which we try to convey. And with Meerapfel Cigar, we want to recall the story. We want to tell the story of the family, and make people aware of the uber luxuries in the experience. It's in sharing and appreciating the finest things in life, and you don't necessarily have to dissect it. With Pagani, it's not so important about where does the titanium truly come from, or where is this piece of the finest leather with a Stefano Ricci creation come from, or where's the silk for the Hermes coming from. It's not so much about that. One thing that we share and which we're incredibly proud of is the wrapper on all our Meerapfel cigars is a very old vintage Cameroon leaf that the family has set aside.
That's what's my question.
For the past decades,
Okay.
So we're talking about an incredible wrapper leaf that you wouldn't find on any other cigar out there on the market, and it's something that the family is world renowned for, as the purveyors of Cameroon tobacco. So that is something that we very happily share with the world. But other than that, the blends and the exact tobaccos and the binder and filler, or the factories that the cigars are being rolled at, are not so important, because again, we're looking at it in a much wider sense, and on a more holistic level, where it's not about the technical comparison between this liga and that liga and this blend and that blend, but more about the uber luxury being a holistic, hedonistic experience that's not to be found anywhere else.
So I got two
how old
listeners.
is tobacco being aged for?
Oh, that you're
At
talking
this-
decades on some of the
Yeah,
rappers.
but I'm saying at this point, well, yeah, but not every cigar could have aged long tobacco. What is your general aging on cigars today?
All I can say is that both the individual raw materials, the tobaccos, and the final cigars have very particular aging environments and aging methods around them. And a lot of this happens in the Meerapfel vaults.
Right.
There is a new Meerapfel headquarter and museum being built in Belgium, which hopefully you all can visit very soon, where we have the incredible pleasure of hosting and welcoming people and showing them through some of these intricacies and introducing them to the cigars resting in the Meerapfel vaults. But we're talking about very specific aging methodology that both the individual raw materials and the final cigars go through.
So right now, I got two questions from our listeners. One from Orlando Perez. He wanted to know, will you, and I guess Meerapfel, be coming to the PCA? And with Chris Eden, he want to know is, how can he get these cigars? So will you guys be showing up at PCA and doing an introduction or an exclusive with this new cigar launching? And where can people here in the States get and order your cigars? And I'm sorry, it's two questions, but I figure they kind of roll into one if you are coming to PCA, and they want to know if you're coming to the PCA.
Well, absolutely. Makes perfect sense. And thank you very much for the wonderful questions. Yes, we will be at PCA. Both Jeremiah and myself, we will have the privilege of seeing all of you folks in the United States in a couple of months.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, we'll be there, so we're going to get a live interview with you too, just to let you
Oh,
know.
I'd love that.
On the way right now, aren't they?
Yeah, we want to smoke these cigars.
I also wanted to send my love and regards to so many people now traveling to Las Vegas for the TPE.
Right.
And I know a lot of folks are already in the Dominican Republic for Pro Cigar.
Right.
And so I wanted to, on behalf of the entire Meerapfel family and on behalf of the Meerapfel Cigar Department, wanted to send my love and regards to all the people making their way either to the DR, Vegas, or joining us here tonight. And I very much look forward to seeing all of you in person in Las Vegas this summer for the PCA.
Yes.
It's very important for us, and a pleasure and privilege to meet our treasured partners in the US. Yes. Which leads me to your second question. Meerapfel Cigar, given the sheer nature of the raw materials that we use, the product in its entirety, the whole project is a very small and limited project, obviously, because as with all great things in life, there's just not enough of it.
Right.
And as a matter of consequence, we very carefully hand select our partners all across the globe. I had the privilege of personally working and servicing all of our hand select partners to convey the message and to make sure that we can share this very exclusive UberLuxury Meerapfel cigar experience. And there's about 100 retail partners all across the world that share this incredible Meerapfel cigar experience with the most discerning cigar aficionados. And we are fortunate to have treasured partners in the United States, some of the finest retailers I believe the country has ever seen. And they proudly showcase Meerapfel cigar and offer our master blends to the people stateside. And so, either please reach out to me directly via reinhard@meerapfel.com. Take a look at our website.
The website is awesome. Everybody should take a look at the website. It is It is fantastic.
It's meerapfelcigar.com or meerapfel.com, and then you can see the full scope of all the various departments of the Meerapfel family, with the leaf department in Cameroon, Sélection Meerapfel, which Melissa, Jeremiah and Joshua's sister, is very graciously taken care of, and Meerapfel Cigar, which I have the privilege to oversee as vice president. And so you can find our retail partners. Again, there's probably a few handful in the United States.
Yep.
Some of the finest retailers out there, most certainly. And if there's any questions about where to find our cigars, again, please contact me directly. I'm sure you will find some of those cigars being announced on people's social media, because they're curious about getting them in and sharing them. I've had numerous retailers calling me up today, asking for, where can we get more cigars? It's been 12 hours. I'm sold out entirely, and they went through their entire stash.
Wow.
And you just can't get them anymore. It's incredible. I mean, I'm truly grateful on the one hand and utterly fascinated on the other hand. Like, this is something I haven't seen, and I haven't been around in the cigar industry to see all the big paradigm shifts throughout the history of the industry, but the dynamic of how this whole thing is coming together, the way people talk about it, the way people share it, embrace the concept, and how people go crazy about it, and the way these are flying off the shelves, feels like something very, very special, and probably another essential paradigm shift in the history of premium cigars. And we set out to create a new segment in the premium cigar world, introducing the UberLuxury to the most discerning cigar aficionados. And I think the recognition we got from Half Wheel for the most holistic experience, the way our retail partners react to it, those are true testaments that we are on the right path to truly build and create this segment of UberLuxury.
So how long have you guys say that this particular line has been in business, to say? Are you still, would you consider yourself a boutique cigar just yet, because of, not hitting the, the million cigar stick in a year type thing? Would you still say you're in now a boutique rather than going total premium?
There's those interchangeable words, Ron. I think boutique and premium are both kind of I think what Reinhard and what Meerapfel is really doing is that the limited nature immediately puts it in a class of its own, truly, because the segment, I understand that. Kind of like there isn't, you don't have a segment. I believe it's your segment. You own that alone. What I'm fascinated with is the beauty of the way that your cigars are displayed, whether it's the way it's boxed with the beautiful ashtray and the 10 cigars that are sitting in that beautiful box with the ashtray, and it's like you said,
it's a beautiful presentation.
Oh, the presentation is again UberLuxury. That is a luxurious presentation. It speaks to not only the quality of the cigar, it's the brand.
Frank.
It's the brand. It's truly the brand, and it's next level. So when you're looking at that, you're looking at so you can't shop this on price and say, well, how much? Oh, that's a lot of money, or it's truly an experience that you're going to have. And I believe that these will be cigars that are purchased, and boxes that are purchased and never opened on a certain level, and that are put aside for those special occasions for people that when they want to smoke something that is so special to them, whether it's meaningful. These are meaningful occasions,
a wedding, a birth, something
I think
important.
that's going to be because again, there are the segment of society that will always be able to afford cigars that are priced at what I will say an Uber price for Uber luxury. But I believe that there's a segment of that society, like the people I'll call us the more commoners, that will purchase that and put it aside and make it for that special occasion where it's.
Well, we've done that.
Yeah, we've done that. Exactly.
We've gone a little bit past our price point to have that special cigar for that particular occasion that we will look forward to saying, I'm celebrating tonight. I'm opening up a bottle of Dom Perignon and I'm having this $50 stick tonight just because I feel like it.
It's for special occasions for sure.
Yes, it is. And there will be people that could smoke these on a daily basis, and that's okay. It just means that I think for each person, that consumer, whatever that price point is, I think this is that special cigar.
Yeah.
On either level, whether you're very wealthy or not so wealthy, you're going to enjoy this on that very special moment.
It makes a statement.
And it does.
Yes. It makes a statement, whether it's a personal one or a social one.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more with you. And I mean, if you look at this cigar ring.
Yeah, let me put that up for close.
Let me get a good picture of that because I know our cigars are in the mail, right?
That ring, just the ring alone, it's
a beautiful band.
I like the band.
It's like a royalty.
It's elegant.
Yes.
That ring alone was years in the making.
Right.
It's manufactured by the master of cigar rings, a gentleman who has dedicated his whole life to printing, embossing, and creating the finest art, you have to call it. And this ring has been years in the making, and the gentleman who manufactures it, John Van Tintelen, said this is probably the most ridiculous project he ever worked on. And we truly made the impossible possible with this. The attention to detail, with the gold and silver foils, with the texture on it,
right?
The relief that you can feel on it, the holographic nature.
Yeah, all the die cuts that you have, it's all kind of, you see
the
the wrapper.
Is that raised?
The lasering of the ring to create what's almost like Belgian lace.
Right. It looks like a lace. Beautiful.
Beautiful. Magnificent.
That alone is a piece of art.
Yep.
And the same is true for every single component. As I said, going back to deconstructing every single element that makes the overall experience. That's how this project was conceived. Every single one of those little details has been taken to the extreme, reinvented, or taken to a level of finesse that has rarely or never been achieved before. And that's what makes the UberLuxury. And the UberLuxury is not about price. It's not about whether it's boutique or not, whatever that means for certain people. I think the UberLuxury is in the experience.
It's one and the same.
Exactly.
They're all premium cigars.
Exactly. It's the experience. And that's exactly what Reinhard has been saying all along.
Awesome.
It's that holistic experience.
And I want everybody to enjoy a Meerapfel cigar every now and then. It's not luxury for the sake of just being ridiculously expensive and another one of those unicorn cigars that you can hardly get, and if so, it's probably way out of your budget. This is about becoming part of a family legacy and about history, values, and tradition, and to give everybody the opportunity to experience some of that and to become part of that legacy, to go on that journey together with us, and to enjoy and to share and embrace a part of cigar history, truly.
Well, can I ask you, how many cigars are in your line presently?
So as I said earlier, we have 4 different master blends in the entirety of Meerapfel Cigar. Within every single one of those master blends, we will eventually have the same 7 traditional vitolas. And we're talking about small ring gauges, old school vitolas, because if you put very old vintage Cameroon wrapper on a cigar, you don't do that with a 60 or 70 ring gauge where you lose all of the finesse,
Yes.
nuances, and the elegance of that UberLuxury wrapper. You have to experience it in a vitola that gives you the perfect equilibrium and the harmony and the balance of all its components, and the opportunity for that delicate wrapper to truly shine. So we're talking about Corona Gorda, Lonsdale, a traditional Cuban Robusto, 4 7/8 by 50, Churchills, Lanceros, right? And only slowly and steadily over the months and years, we are releasing those various different cigars. And so far, we started with the Richard, with the double Robusto, the very ornate presentation with the chests holding the ashtray and the 10 cigars.
Yeah, beautiful.
We have introduced the Meilleur Master Blend, which is the cigar that I was holding into the camera with the lasering pattern of the Genesis, the rays of light.
Right.
This was our second revelation, which we have now shared with the world. We there introduced the Churchill, the Pyramid, and the Robusto size, coming in 25 count wooden chests.
Ooh, old school.
Wow.
25.
Wow.
Incredible presentation.
Wow.
When you look at those chests with all the cigars lined up next to each other, it's fascinating. And once you open that box, the incredible
unbelievable
of the aromas of those leaves, it's magnificent.
Well, I like the fact that you went old school, because when I used to buy boxes of cigars back in the day, they were all 25 counts. That's old school, man. I like that.
And our cigars come without cellophane, so once you open the box,
you
you have that incredible aroma meeting you and greeting you and inviting you to take one of these cigars and light them up immediately.
Beautiful.
Nice.
So we're going to take a break right now, and we're going to come back to our fun section, which we hope we have some laughs with you on this one. We're going to come to our segment called Smoke the Chooch. And I think you know what a chooch is, because I think you're in that European atmosphere of Italy and a donkey. So hold on a second, folks. Make sure you hit the share button, and let's get things really happening here right after the last segment of sponsors. Frank, take it away.
You got it.
Cigar in the Bottle is 2 palate-pleasing gifts in 1. A specially blended Grand Pommier XS VSOP cognac is elegantly contained in patented numbered bottles. Winner of back-to-back-to-back medals at the LA Spirits Awards, Cigar in the Bottle inventor Forbidden Johnny teams up with Vartan and Hendrik Kellner for this custom-blended Vartan Reserva cigar, well-preserved in a hand-blown glass chamber featuring Bovita 2-way humidification.
At Norwood Royal Cigars, we have the biggest walk-in humidor in the Midwest. Our 1,500 square foot humidor is home to almost 4,000 different cigars that will meet the need of any cigar enthusiast. We have boutique blends to the more traditional selections and everything in between. From the novice beginner to the aficionado, the knowledgeable staff at NRC will find the perfect cigar for you. Located on the northwest side of Chicago, we want to be your shop for all your cigar wants and needs. As always, at Norwood Royal Cigars, light it, smoke it, love it.
Experience the magic of Rockefeller Cigars today. With 11 years steeped in tradition, passion, and mystery of the leaf, Rockefeller has a cigar just for you. Be like the greatest magicians and make Rockefeller Cigars appear in your lineup with any of our 4 lines: the Nicaraguan, the Dominican Blue, the Vintage Gold, and our new LE, the Art of Magic.
Over the Rhine Premium Cigars is located in the heart of Cincinnati, 50 yards south of historic Findlay Market. We offer both known brands and the finest boutique cigars available. Feel free to bring your favorite beverage and relax in Dude Daycare, where dudes of all genders are welcome. We look forward to serving you at Over the Rhine Premium Cigars. And we are a proud member of the Boutique Cigar Association.
All begins at the very first climate-controlled Rodriguez Olivan cigar factory located in the Dominican Republic. Our two major brands include Don Olivan, which are boutique cigars suited for that individual who takes great pride in something unique. BAMF is our armed forces cigars, designed for that badass mother effer. Not only are you smoking a great premium cigar, a percentage of the proceeds is donated to our heroic men and women in uniform.
And we're back. All right. So I guess, Frank, we do have a lot of newbies on. So let's give them an explanation of smoke the chooch.
Just show them.
Okay, well, we like to introduce this segment with our mascot. And the reason for that, Reinhard, is I love history. I'm kind of a history buff, and I try to kind of give these guys some trivia questions about history and see how much they really don't know. And I stump them, and then they usually give me the wrong answer, and then they're a chooch. So, and chooch in Italian is kind of slang for donkey. So that's kind of the fun part of it. And I ask the questions, and all of you can take part in it. You yourself, you'll probably get some of these, and these guys probably won't. But that's just the reality. I think you have a little bit more education than they do in certain areas. So, and history might
just remember it's 4:00 in the morning here. So.
All right, we got a chance, guys. We got a chance.
Maybe we'll be
Thanks for an equal playground.
and then we save a question for our audience so that they can kind of Google themselves and Siri and ask everybody for an answer. And the first to answer that comes up on our board wins a prize. So tonight,
what is the prize tonight, by the way?
It's not giving away. It's not any of these cigars, I'll tell you that, because we don't have the budget for that. But we do have the budget for
a box of White Owls.
A box of White Owls. Some, some blunts and things like that. But we have, let's see, what are we giving away tonight? We got
a beautiful polo by Alan Renault, a fantastic tailor. This is one of the best polos you will ever wear.
And Ronnie's already worn that at least a dozen times.
What's good is Reinhard. It's good because we can't see Ronnie's face. He's like a ventriloquist. All you see is the polo. But what does it say? What does the polo say, Russ?
Smoke at the Creek.
Smoke at the Creek. It was a boutique cigar association festival they had in Martinsville, Indiana, at Smoke at the Creek.
Very
Cedar
nice.
Creek, and really a beautiful shirt.
Good.
And a wonderful, very well made hat.
Mega hat.
There we go. Nice. I like that.
It's nice.
And
you know what? Nice. I got to get our friends, and because they were just on today, and Angelo and Randy down at the RNA Treasures.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to give them a beautiful pipe. Because maybe, if we can send it over to Europe somehow, we can get them smoking a little more pipe, and great tobaccos coming out of Europe also. And it's brand new. It's great. It's got a nice size bowl. It's not bad. So
Algerian.
Yes, it is, Bob. Very good.
By the way,
did
you happen to see the vintage briar root that they found in their warehouse.
They found so much stuff that they didn't even know they had after years of just packed away. Yes, it just blew my mind.
Pieces of briar root, Frank, that were like this big, like 50 pounds of vintage wood.
Wow.
Oh man, incredible! And they're having some sort of a little contest about it.
Oh, good.
Yep, they are. So that's RNA Treasures, one of our sponsors.
Great
and
people, love them.
Fantastic pipes for unbelievable prices.
Yeah.
So we have 3 giveaways tonight for one lucky winner.
One lucky winner. But before we go into that,
this is for us, so we can wear our cone-shaped hat.
Exactly. Let's see if you'll figure this one out, Bob. In 1804, on this date in history,
I was only in diapers.
Bob was in diapers in 1804, Reinhard. So remember that. He was in diapers. This Richard Trevithick runs.
What?
Richard, I'll spell it for you.
Yeah.
Trevithick.
Whoa, that wasn't any better.
Richard Trevithick runs for the first time
in the marathon.
No, it's the first that runs for the very first time in 1804, and it was steam driven in 1804.
Locomotive.
It was the first steam locomotive.
Yes.
Say you didn't know who he was.
I didn't know who he was, but I knew what he did. Yes, I know that. I know.
And Bruce Stark also had the answer. You know, the old timer. He's got.
Bruce was next to me in the hospital. We were born the same day.
1852. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. 1916, on this date in history, 1916, World War I. This battle begins with a German offensive that led to an estimated 1 million casualties and becomes the longest battle of the entire war, 9 months. What was this battle?
What year?
1916, on this World War I. Oh.
Somme?
What's that?
Was it the Battle of Somme?
No,
Somme. The only one I can think of.
You can sum it up all you want. I don't know if you got the right answer.
I hate to call. I don't like calling Reinhard a chooch because at least
he was close. At least he answered. So
you guys get no points because you didn't even.
I was still thinking, Frank.
Yes, I know. It was the Battle of Verdun.
Verdun.
The Battle of Verdun.
I thought we were done.
We were done. After that, it was done, and that's what happened.
And where was that fought, Frank?
I told you.
No, but where was it thought?
I'm not going to tell you that. That you have to ask. Listen, I'm not giving away all my secrets. You'll have to figure it. Go on.
Bob, he's just a chooch. He don't know. He just got the question. That's all.
Wow,
listen, I'm going to give you guys one more.
Okay.
One more. On this date in history in 1931, this was the first exhibition night game. Who played in the first exhibition night game in 1931?
Ronnie, you should get this. Ronnie, come on.
First exhibition night game. Obviously,
don't sit there farting in the couch. Come on,
obviously, it's baseball.
Of course,
Cincinnati.
it was.
First under the lights.
Yeah,
first game.
Yeah. That was in the movie, the in the fields, right?
No,
it wasn't Field of Dreams, Bob. No. Cincinnati and oh God,
they don't know. They're chooches.
No, I'm sorry.
First night game was
I knew it, but I forgot.
Played by the Chicago White Sox against the New York Giants at that time.
Okay, all right.
Two people right there who should have known. Two people with the big hat on right now. Wow.
Yep. Orlando said Chicago White Sox and New York Giants. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
Orlando, no. Orlando knows.
Oh, is this for the
All right.
audience?
This is for
This
the
is
audience.
for the audience now. All right, you
Okay.
all got your little practice writing it in. This one is for you. Kyle is on the clock. Ready?
Close
I'm on the
your
clock. I'm not on the
Siri
clock.
and no Alexa, nothing here now. Come on.
So, in keeping with the words UberLuxury, this question is going to kind of discuss luxury at the next level, folks. So play very close attention. And I need
attention.
all right.
We're paying attention.
I'm going to give you the verbal. I'm going to give you clues because I'm going to give you. I'm going to read
So
this.
this is
for
like
folks.
Park Avenue stuff.
Well,
yeah?
you never know.
Okay.
You never know. Okay. The highest priced watch ever sold at auction. I need the brand, model, and sales price. All three to win.
Oh, wow.
All three to win.
Alexa.
They will know. They will know. They'll get it. Listen, first one to give me all three, folks. And I know that Reinhard knows this.
Yeah,
He knows this one.
I know the brand, but I can't tell you what the model is.
I know. That's why you have Alexa.
Yeah, I don't have Alexa.
This is a hard one. Very
well,
hard.
I mean, we have a very Chris Eden, a good Joe Galino being the chooch that he
What
is.
did he say? Timex?
He said the Apple iWatch.
I thought he said Timex.
Chris Eden's getting close. Chris, I'm telling you, you're getting close. I need the.
Well, he can't even spell it right. So
No, don't worry.
Patek Philippe.
Remember, I need the
Yeah,
model.
but you need the
I need the
model.
model.
Oh, Bruce, Patek Philippe Grandmaster, Chime 63A-0131.2
Could
million.
that be correct? Could it be the Petit Philippe?
It has to be Patek Philippe. I knew that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The Grandmaster
Yeah.
Chime 6300A
I
for
didn't know the model.
31.2 million.
That's it.
Could that be the correct answer, folks?
Yes.
I don't know. What do you think?
Yes.
Could it be?
Yes.
There we go. There it is.
Hey, look at that. Once again, the old timer that was born with you, Mr. Bruce Erkling Stark. Congratulations.
And I have
Bruce.
3 of them in my closet right now. I just
Oh,
the model
bullshit.
number.
Bullshit.
Yeah, they're relics, all right.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
It's right next to my Rolex.
He got them
Mariner.
from China. They're $20 a piece.
Yes. The guy with the overcoat went
Just
like,
do me a favor.
Want to buy 'em?
The next time you strap it on, make sure you light up a Meerapfel cigar with it.
There you go.
yes.
There you go.
A classy watch with a classy cigar. You
That's
can't beat
it.
that.
That's it.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Yeah,
Listen,
right.
we know how late it is over there.
Yeah.
So
And we're going to keep you up for another
Well,
hour.
it's not late. It's early for him. It's late for
all
us.
he needs is an espresso and he's ready to
Wait
go.
spend the night, so all good. I'm here.
Reinhard, we can't thank you enough for
Thank you,
taking the
buddy.
time to join us on the show and your wisdom and knowledge and everything that's going on. We wish you all the best. I think you're on an incredible path here with Jeremiah, and we are looking so forward to meeting you in person at the PCA.
Yes.
And if you got like 4 of those cigars somewhere, anywhere, there will be 4 chooches looking to
And
keep the watch, give us the cigar.
I'll trade you one of my bootleg Patek Philippe.
But honestly, thank you. It's been such a
Thank
pleasure
you.
and honor to
Thank you
have
very
you
much
on.
for being on, buddy.
And we can't thank you enough. You certainly kept our audience on and with all their questions. And I hope you did. I'm pretty sure you answered everything that they were looking for. So we're going to see you in a few months in Las Vegas. How does that sound?
Can't wait. Well,
All right.
first of all, I have to say, I'm just a humble servant. Whether it's in my role with Meerapfel Cigar, with Light 'em Up for the cigar community and family, or throughout all other endeavors, I consider myself just a humble servant, and I love to come together with people, to bring people together, and to share experiences and share great moments and memories. And so I cannot thank you enough, and everybody who took precious time out of their busy days to join us, log on here, and hear me ramble on about my personal journey, old Europe, and the UberLuxury. But it's been a true privilege and pleasure. And
I hope we left you with a memory of Chooches hanging out with you. I know this is completely off from what you're used to.
Yeah,
it's just
by the way, at dinner,
all I could ask.
Vegas, it's on you.
Say hello to Jeremiah. We're looking forward to seeing you guys. And again, thank you so much, brother.
I love everybody. And I
from all of us to all of you,
with all of you in person.
Yes, we look forward to you.
From all of us to all of you, God bless the cigar industry, and God bless the Great Cigar and Pipe Show.
Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it.
Everybody.
Congrats to Bruce. We'll see you all next Tuesday night, same place, right here.
Karen
Thank
Berger.
you, everybody. Karen Berger, yes, Karen Berger, and our very own co-host.
Hopefully,
Jara
she's got some time set aside.
Well, we hope so. But Karen Berger will be joining us, and I think you know who Karen Berger is for sure. The Queen of Cigars, for sure. All right, everybody, have a great week.
Good night.
Take care, everyone. Light them up.
Tell my brothers to line them up. We'll drink that whiskey from those old dirty cups. We'll toast to the present, the future, and the past. This ain't my first drink, but I sure it ain't my last. 'Cause this world is so beautiful. I see its love come shining through. This world is so beautiful. I feel its love come shining through.